Tonight, on the eve of Remembrance Day, backlash after Don Cherry suggests immigrants don't support veterans.
You people love you that come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life, you love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for a poppy.
The intense public outcry, the response,
we were wrong,
and the growing calls for Cherry to step down.
Also tonight, Alberta eyes federal powers.
It's time for Ottawa to start working for us.
So how should Ottawa deal with Western alienation? Australia warns that catastrophic wildfires could reach Sydney.
Sunny days, sweeping the clouds away.
Sesame Street turns 50. The Canadian voices behind those famous puppets. This is The National. It is the eve of Remembrance Day, when Canada comes together to remember our country's sacrifice and valor. For many, this is a time of unity about what we share. But tonight, comments from Hockey Night in Canada's Don Cherry about who honors our veterans have sparked a backlash. Rosie, you're leading our Remembrance Day coverage.
That's right, Ian, and I'm here tonight at the National War Memorial, which is just a stone's throw from Parliament and Parliament Hill. It was dedicated, this monument, 80 years ago to the fallen of the First World War, when Canada's tragic sacrifice helped forge its identity, our identity, on the world stage. One reason why Remembrance Day can also be a time of reflection about patriotism and service and gratitude. And on Coach's Corner last night, that reflection got controversial and divisive.
You know, I was talking to a veteran. I said, I'm not going to run the poppy thing anymore because what's the sense? I live in Mississauga. Nobody wears, very few people wear a poppy. Downtown Toronto, forget it, downtown Toronto. Nobody wears a poppy. And I'm not going to.
Hockey Night in Canada host Don Cherry left little doubt that the problem with those places is the immigrants who live there.
You people love you that come here, whatever it is, you love our way of life, you love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies or something like that. These guys pay for your way of life that you enjoy in Canada. These guys paid the biggest price. Anyhow, I'm going to run it again for you great people and good Canadians that bought a poppy. I'm still going to run it anyhow.
love you for it.
CBC broadcasts Hockey Night in Canada. Rogers Media owns and produces it on its own Sportsnet channel, which has responded, calling the comments offensive and discriminatory. So have many Canadians. Here's some of that reaction from Ali Chiasson.
I was kind of flabbergasted. I was taken aback. The fact that Don Cherry said, you people.
You people love you that come here, whatever it is.
The fact that we have to, as minorities, we have to continually explain and prove our patriotism and how Canadian we are. And I think it's frustrating for a lot of people.
When Don Cherry said what he said last night,
these guys pay for your way of life that you enjoy in Canada.
And went unchallenged by his co-host Ron MacLean, Brampton City Councillor Gurpreet Dillon thought about how Cherry's rhetoric affects young hockey fans.
I had to go through a lot of racism when I was just learning how to skate, and so I kind of gave up on it. And so I don't want to see that to happen to my son going forward.
Cherry and #YouPeople are trending topics on Twitter. Posts like this one from NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, pointing to his great-grandfather's service in both world wars. It's the talk of the country and at the arena.
I'm the granddaughter of a World War II vet. I don't need to be told by you that my poppy will represent my support of vets. I hated the way that he did that. I thought that he was absolutely looking and pointing fingers at people of color, racialized communities, because he didn't see enough poppies. So that translates into racialized communities not caring about this country. I'm sorry, it was unacceptable. I would love to see Don Cherry replaced.
Cherry's co-host Ron MacLean wasn't spared from the backlash either. Take this tweet, for example, shared thousands of times.
I sat there, did not catch it, did not respond.
MacLean started tonight's broadcast of hometown hockey addressing the controversy.
Don Cherry made remarks which were hurtful, discriminatory, which were flat out wrong. We were wrong, and I sincerely apologize.
CBC says it has no control over what commentators say on Hockey Night in Canada. Cherry hasn't spoken out directly, but has been spoken with, according to a statement from Sportsnet today. Councillor Dillon says the conversation shouldn't end here.
There's an opportunity here.
There's absolutely a great opportunity here, and so if there was some type of round table going forward, where we have members of the community there, if we have Mr. Cherry there, we have the NHL there, we can really find out how we can, not only express our patriotism, but we can talk about how we can grow the game of hockey.
Ali Chiasson, CBC News, Toronto.
We'll have more on Remembrance Day from here a little bit later in the show with stories about Canadians touched by war, bringing the past to life. For now, though, back to Toronto.
All right, Rosie, Alberta Premier Jason Kenney has laid the ground to have his province assume new powers, which are now in the hands of the federal government. It speaks to the widening chasm between Western voters and the Liberal rule they rejected in last month's election. Aaron Broman shows us Kenney's latest salvo.
We plead with the federal government to actually occupy and exercise its powers.
In a fiery speech, Jason Kenney said Albertans are frustrated, fearful, and want change.
Albertans have been working for Ottawa for too long. It's time for Ottawa to start working for us.
He announced a high-powered panel to examine ways of giving the province more clout, like joining Quebec's fight to collect federal taxes, setting up a provincial police force, and starting a provincial pension fund separate from the Canadian Pension Plan. Moves, he says, that could ease Ottawa's policy grip on Alberta's prosperity.
They need to understand that they're killing the golden goose. They have both fists wrapped around the throat of that goose, the source of the gold that paid for quality public services across Canada, and they're squeezing it hard.
His proposed Fair Deal panel will include former Reform Party leader Preston Manning and Stephen Lougheed, the son of a revered former premier.
It is quite striking to see that they are taking a serious look at forming their own provincial pension plan, given the fact that large pension plan funds are wondering whether or not they're going to stay in the fossil fuel area.
Former Premier Rachel Notley says Kenney could be putting Alberta's retirements at risk. He is intentionally stoking the fires of separation, she said. He did not campaign on any of these issues. Post-election, Western alienation has seized the Ottawa agenda.
I came in peace.
On Friday, the Manitoba Premier met with Justin Trudeau and emerged with a unifying message.
As a Manitoban who's a Canadian first, I also always endeavour to make sure that the things I raise and advocate for are good for Canada as well as for Manitoba.
Today, the Prime Minister's office said Trudeau will meet one-on-one with each Premier as soon as possible. Aaron Broman, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now let's turn to Australia and a red-hot race against time. More than 110 bushfires are burning in 2 provinces, but it's in New South Wales where the threat is concentrated and bearing down on the country's most populated area, around Sydney. More than 5 million people have been told to brace for potential disaster. Jayla Bernstein shows us what they're up against.
As the fire spreads across eastern Australia's bushland, exhausted firefighters do what they can to keep it under control. They know the threat to the country's biggest city is very real.
Lost a few friends in the fire, lost all the possessions. Possessions are nothing. It's the people that count, eh?
Authorities are warning Tuesday will see catastrophic conditions in the Sydney area. The forecast is windy, dry, and hot, with temperatures expected to reach 37 Celsius. That, combined with severe drought, is a dangerous recipe. Flames like these have forced authorities to shut down roads and cancel trains. Schools and national parks are closed as well. While some brace for what's to come, others are surveying the aftermath.
We don't know what we're coming back for, We just you just come back and have a look and hope for the best.
The flames have destroyed more than 100 homes, displaced thousands of people, and left at least 3 dead. While residents and rescue workers face this reality on the ground, the fires have also sparked a political debate on climate change and whether it's to blame.
We've been telling the politicians the same message for over 10 years, and they are not listening. We have a Prime Minister and a Premier in denial about climate change. This is real.
Though Australia's Meteorology Bureau has linked extreme heat events to climate change, the current government has been dodging the question.
We've had fires in Australia since Well, since time began. And what people need now is a little bit of sympathy, understanding, and real assistance. They need help. They need shelter. Not the ravings of some.
Why is it wrong to ask those questions?
Well, they don't need the ravings of some pure, enlightened, and woke capital city greenies at this time when they're trying to save their homes.
The last 2 years were the country's hottest on record. And even though the summer months have yet to arrive there, it has already been one of Australia's worst bushfire seasons. Jayla Bernstein, CBC News, Montreal.
It is shaping up to be a big week in Washington. All of those closed doors at the Donald Trump impeachment inquiry are about to be thrown wide open. As the CBC's Paul Hunter tells us, live testimony will let viewers judge for themselves whether Trump used his power for his own purposes.
With public impeachment hearings against Donald Trump just days away, Democrats have fine-tuned their message on what Americans will soon hear about him: accusations of extortion.
They are going to hear people telling the story of a president who, let's forget quid pro quo. Quid pro quo is one of these things to muddy the works, who extorted a vulnerable country by holding up military aid. So yes, they are going to hear something new.
The allegation Trump abused the power of the presidency for his own political gain is at the heart of all of this, withholding that aid in trying to pressure Ukrainian President Zelensky into finding dirt on Trump rival Joe Biden. Trump wanted an investigation into corruption at a Ukrainian energy company with Biden's son on its board of directors. The Republican view?
Well, if it's corruption, and he believes there to be corruption, he has every right to withhold aid.
Democrats underline there's never been evidence of any wrongdoing by Biden's son, and seeking foreign help that could affect a U.S. election is against U.S. law. A key witness on opening day this week, William Taylor, who's already testified behind closed doors that indeed Trump held back that aid pending an investigation. As the top U.S. diplomat in Ukraine, it's Taylor's job to understand the thinking and directives of the president. Say Democrats, his testimony is expected to be persuasive.
It gives me no pleasure to tell you the American president has abused his office and he should be accountable.
And so all eyes turn to this Wednesday, the latest step in a process that's expected to lead to Trump's impeachment, even though Republicans in the Senate would then likely vote to keep him in office. Nonetheless, it'd be a presidency tainted, just as Trump's 2020 re-election bid begins in earnest. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
An NBA player was suspended for 10 games today after what's being called a very scary situation on a team plane. Dion Waiters of the Miami Heat fell ill reportedly after eating some THC-infused gummies. And as Tina Lovegreen reports, it's a cautionary tale for Canadians interested in cannabis edibles.
Everybody that's a licensed store will carry them. So
inside this legal cannabis store,
it's going to be probably twice as many products that we'll carry.
Anticipation is growing for the day edibles hit the shelves.
We get a lot of people especially asking for gummies, and that's a really popular one. So I think we're going to have a lot of customers coming in for that.
Edibles were legalized last month, but won't be in stores until mid-December, and will be limited to 10 milligrams of THC per package due to fears of overconsumption.
The Heat have suspended Dion Waiters.
That may have been what happened to Dion Waiters on Thursday. Multiple reports say he had a panic attack and needed medical attention after ingesting a THC-infused edible. Sports media can't confirm exactly what he took, how much, or even if it caused his attack.
Dry mouth, rapid heart rate palpitations. I think I'm feeling like I'm going to die. No, you'll be fine.
This ER doctor says he often sees patients suffering from anxiety after taking too many edibles.
Often what happens when people ingest one, they don't feel any response, they ingest another and another, and then a couple of hours later it feels weird, and more weird than you would expect, and people's reaction is a panic attack.
The other problem, he says, is that the THC may not be equally distributed.
You get the side of the brownie tray that's got more of the THC, and the other person gets some that's less, you know. It depends on the concentrations.
How many milligrams you want?
Travis Peterson prepares cannabis-infused food. He says it comes down to proper technique.
A lot of these stories we hear, these brownies and that were made in people's kitchens where they don't really know what they're doing. They're just putting the cannabis in there. You know, they're not properly emulsifying that butter into the batter in that.
The higher the better for me.
The higher the better.
Yeah.
He says not everyone knows what their tolerance level is, which is why consumers are advised to take dosage limits seriously and pace themselves.
Start low, go slow.
Or else what is supposed to be an enjoyable experience may be anything but. Tina Lovegreen, CBC News, Vancouver.
Here are some stories we're watching tonight on The National. Neil Young says he's trying to become a U.S. citizen, but his honesty about his marijuana use is holding up the process. He's lived in the States for years and says he wants to vote in the 2020 election. Don't worry, he plans to keep his Canadian citizenship as well. In Halifax, 2 special constables have been found guilty of criminal negligence causing death. They were accused in the 2016 death of Corey Rogers, who was at a police station for public intoxication. The jury heard that Rogers was left alone with a spit hood partially covering his face. He died of asphyxiation. Celebrations in Bolivia tonight after Evo Morales resigned as president. There have been mass protests in the country ever since Morales was re-elected last month. He's promising a new election to deal with accusations of electoral fraud. A Toronto man is calling for stricter regulations after his cell number was stolen and he was threatened with extortion. He suspects the attack against him was targeted, and as our senior technology reporter, Thomas Dagla, reports, it exposes a gap that could put other Canadians at risk.
Randall Barron-Chong is trying to relax after a stressful few days. Locked out of his computer, his files were rummaged through remotely, his phone number stolen, and that's just the half of it.
I cried because I was like, why is this happening to me?
Late one night last week, he started getting alerts about someone accessing his Microsoft account, where all his files were saved as backup.
This is when things started getting bad.
Then came the threats.
Send me 2 Bitcoin or I'm dropping your sex tapes to all your coworkers, investors, and relatives.
Barron-Chong had intimate videos saved in the cloud, and the price to keep them private would be about $25,000.
Now I'm trying to translate anger and hatred into protecting other people. Every single Canadian with a cell phone is at risk.
He's a Rogers customer, but someone called Bell to get his number transferred to another account. It's known as porting, and all the fraudster would have needed was Barron-Chong's phone number and account number. Then it seems the scammer used a 2-step process to steal Barron-Chong's Microsoft password. Many websites verify users' identities by sending out a text message. And remember, the scammer had already stolen Barron-Chong's phone number. Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey and pop star Selena Gomez have both reportedly fallen victim to the same scam.
Until the carriers actually fix this, this is a gap that's been discovered that is going to be exploited by hackers for nefarious reasons.
When porting a number, Canadian carriers all follow the same CRTC requirements, regulations administered by the Canadian Wireless Telecommunications Association.
We'll continuously adapt. Now, having said that, the fraudsters are going to continuously adapt.
As for Barron-Chong, he got his number back but didn't pay the ransom. He still worries his private files could be made public any day. Thomas Dagler, CBC News, Toronto.
We're back in 3 minutes with the story of a deadly drunk driving case dividing a small town. How the outcome could set a precedent for bar servers. And C is for celebration. It's been 50 years since Sesame Street's debut. We'll hear from the people behind the puppets.
And our Remembrance Day coverage continues with an Alberta woman hunting for evidence to put faces to the names of Canadian war dead. But first, telling the story of war through personal letters.
This is a letter I wrote home in 1944 to my wife Betty after she had written to tell me the sad news of the loss of our best man who had been killed. Darling, I'm really sorry to hear about David. That is one of the worst blows yet. I like David enormously. Having worked with some of the men of his unit, I can only guess what happened is a night patrol, and it is honestly a pity.
Meet Frankie Drake, the best PI in the city.
New mysteries.
The newspaper said that it was an accident.
Taking the cases.
You know something different?
Others can't handle.
I never get to work with a looker.
Frankie Drake Mysteries, Mondays at 9 on CBC and CBC Gem.
Unless he's on a slab.
A tight-knit Ontario community is divided over a potentially precedent-setting case. It involves a bar server charged in connection with a drunk driving crash, which left 2 young hockey players dead and 2 others injured. As Olivia Stefanovich explains, the decision could affect how bars operate in this country.
This award's a special award as it recognizes one of our former students.
On a night celebrating a big milestone, these graduating students remember one of their own.
Mr. Alex the Package Paquette, and it's his memorial award.
A former classmate and hockey player whose enthusiasm for life lives on.
He was a great kid. He left a great mark.
Alex Paquette was 18 when he died of injuries from a car crash that killed a fellow teammate and injured 2 others. The 4 members of the Renfrew Timberwolves junior hockey team had been drinking. They went to a bar in a neighboring community. All of them were underage. Now the bartender who served them that night has been charged with 4 counts of criminal negligence, an unusual move by prosecutors that's left people in this close-knit area conflicted.
Obviously, drinking and driving is never okay, and it's a horrible situation, but at the same time, we're all human, and obviously nobody intended for this to happen.
If the case ends with a conviction, this legal expert says there could be widespread implications.
The criminal realm has very few of these cases, and I think this would set a precedent.
Brian Barish defended a bartender in a similar situation. He got the criminal charges against his client thrown out before a trial. He says the outcome of this matter could compel insurers to raise the potential liability with other drinking establishments.
That's going to have a trickle-down effect to management, and hopefully will send a message to servers that they have to be very attuned to people they're serving, which is difficult.
Meanwhile, Paquette's mother, Joanna, says she just wants to see accountability for the damage that's been done.
I don't wish her any harm. I just want her to know what we've lost, and to accept that she was responsible for part of it.
No matter what happens, the impact of the loss and lives disrupted is already leaving a lasting mark. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Greater Madawaska, Ontario.
Up next, from Canada's National War Memorial, bringing together survivors of the Second World War. Passengers who survived a maritime disaster share their stories. Plus, why one foundation is turning to holograms to help the stories of Holocaust survivors stay alive. We'll be right back.
That's a floating flange, or it's a butt weld flange, slip-on flange, it's a DN flange.
A lot of women might not even know what a flange is. That's something a man would know. A man would know that a flange is a projecting flat rim collar or rib.
At the War Memorial in London, much ceremony around Remembrance Day happens on the Sunday closest to November 11. So today, political leaders past and present, and of course generations of royals came for the wreath laying, led by Prince Charles, the Queen looking on from the balcony. Here at Canada's National War Memorial, thousands will gather tomorrow to pay their respects. Remembrance can challenge us. War takes lives and memories with them. The burden of reconstructing the record is left to survivors. Tom Murphy shows us how survivors of the first ship sunk in the Second World War reached out to each other and into the past.
Imagine being part of a monumental moment in history and not remembering much of anything about it. And your best clue is 200 meters below the surface of the North Atlantic. This is a sonar image of what's believed to be the wreck of the SS Athenia. And what a tale she has to tell, if only she could tell it. Heather Watts was almost 3 years old back in September of 1939. 80 years later, she craves any bit of information about her fateful voyage into history aboard the Athenia.
Mother had never seen you.
That's your mother?
And
This old recording of Heather's mother giving her account of a harrowing night on the ocean liner is Heather's most treasured link to her part in the first day of World War II.
the Prime Minister spoke over the radio, and we heard that war had been declared.
War is what the Athenia passengers, mostly women and children, were desperately fleeing. Little did they know they were sailing right into it. Off the coast of Scotland, an overly zealous German U-boat captain had spied the Athenia and, against all rules, fired his torpedoes.
And I was telling you your bedtime story when the crash came, and it was just an almighty jolt.
And equally jarring, the cruelty of war. Margaret Hayworth of Hamilton was fatally wounded in the attack. At age 10, she would become the first casualty of World War II to be buried in Canada.
I just thought this was the end, we were drowning.
But Heather's mother somehow managed to keep her safe. With the ship listing, the surviving passengers scrambled into unstable, leaky lifeboats.
So I was thrown onto the floor with you underneath me. And you were crying out. All I can remember was just oily water and not getting my breath for a few minutes because I'd fallen into the chains and stuff in the bottom of the boat, you see.
And then 11 agonizing hours on the darkened North Atlantic. More than 100 would not survive.
It was quite a night. It was indeed. It's these things that, you know, knowing what the experience was, you can find out even more and about of the other people that were on that boat and what their experiences were.
And why is that so important to you?
Just because it's part of my life, and it was a very unusual and dramatic experience.
It's that quest to know more that's leading Heather to Halifax, where 8 other child survivors will be together again for the first time in 80 years. People like Philip Gunyon, who was 7 at the time. Now, all these years later, he considers himself one of the lucky ones.
Yeah, I think about the people who lost their lives, and that's one of the things I want to acknowledge today, is the ones that couldn't be here. And sure, you think about, yeah, maybe it could have been me, but it wasn't, so you just live with that.
And people like Vivian Culver. She was 3 at the time of the sinking, and even today, her sole memory of being in a lifeboat brings her anxiety.
So where is this coming from? And the only thing I could pin it to was probably this repressed memory of not just sitting in the lifeboat, but the fear that I must have felt that emanated from the people that were there.
I want to thank you all for making this trip.
They're here to commemorate the disaster, to honor the dead, and feel the bond that only survivors can feel.
Whereas you've lived through it.
Together, once again, to perhaps in some way process their unlikely involvement in those first hours of World War II. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Halifax.
This country lost more than 100,000 soldiers in the First and Second World Wars alone. You can find their names, but what's often missing is their faces. Aaron Collins has the quest to find those photos because seeing is remembering.
Donna Maxwell has a calling of sorts, slowly, painstakingly reaching into the past to piece together the stories of the fallen.
I just wanted that they be remembered, and I thought to myself, after taking many trips to Europe, that there should be a face to a name.
Over the years, she's compiled more than 1,000 stories of Canadian soldiers who died overseas. And these days, her focus is on Holland. Canadians fought to free that country in the dying days of World War II. Thousands would never return home, and as the 75th anniversary of the Netherlands' liberation approaches, the push is on to tell each of those soldiers' stories.
What drives you to do this?
I just have such a desire and interest. It becoming interest is more of a passion.
About 2,000 Canadians are buried at Grosbeek Cemetery in Holland, and many of the pictures and life stories dug up by Maxwell are sent here too, part of an online project to pay tribute to the lives of the Canadians buried there.
We have the basic information of every soldier, but if you add something like a story from the brother or the sister, it's a different story.
James Earl Hoover is one of the Canadians buried at Grosbeek. Hoover volunteered to fight on the front with the Calgary Highlanders. The story of his life in Canada before losing it in battle overseas, one of the first to be posted.
You can really feel the appreciation they have for the Canadian forces that helped to liberate Holland.
Jim Hoover hopes to be in Grosbeek this May to visit his uncle's grave and attend a ceremony marking the country's liberation. After sending more than 300 pictures and stories of soldiers to Holland, Donna Maxwell will be there too, as the guest of honor.
If we don't remember, we'll just make the same mistakes again.
Until then, her search continues, one by one, putting more faces to names, remembering their sacrifice. Aaron Collins, CBC News, Calgary.
Tomorrow, we'll hear mention of patriotism and heroism, but war is also a crucible for atrocities. The Second World War in particular bound forever to the legacy of the Holocaust. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson shows us how technology is preserving the living memories of its horrors so that its lessons are not forgotten.
When we arrived in Majdanek, they separated women from children.
Pinchas Guter travels around Canada to share his story of unimaginable terror and survival against all odds. His favorite audiences are kids and teens. A Polish Jew, Guter was just 11 when the Nazis murdered his parents and twin sister in a single day and sent him to a concentration camp.
If a person tells it from books or tells it from learning at a university, it's not the same if somebody who's actually been there, seen it, experienced it, and comes firsthand as a witness, telling them exactly what happened.
For this hologram, you have a little memory here.
Well,
but at 87, he's aware he won't be able to bear witness forever.
It's a round sphere.
So Guter volunteered to be the first of the Holocaust survivors to take part in a bold new experiment. Their testimonies were filmed in 3D by dozens of cameras, allowing them to be shown on a flat screen or as holograms. Guter and the other survivors sat down for days, answering thousands of potential questions visitors might have.
Do you remember any songs from your youth?
Jadą dzieci, jadą drogą, siostrzyczka I brat.
We're losing these individuals. It's not very long from now where a student won't have an opportunity to talk to Pinchas in Toronto at Holocaust Education Week. So we wanted to give that ability to ask survivors questions available in perpetuity.
People interact with me because they think either I'm on Skype, or they thank me, or they apologize for asking me a stupid question. I mean, the things that happen, you cannot believe it.
Hi, my name's Eva. Welcome to my page.
Some other attempts to reach youth through the media they're interested in have been more polarizing. A fictionalized series of Instagram stories about a real-life teen who died in the Holocaust was criticized by some for being disrespectful.
You have to confront pain.
Pinchas Guter also participated in a virtual reality retelling of his story, which was praised.
People don't read as much as they used to do. People don't listen very much. They don't interact. So the only way to do it is use new technology, so that in the future that should play a part in the education of the young and make a difference to the way the world is going to move forward. Then it's important to me.
Do you feel hope for the future?
I always feel hopeful.
Using new media to preserve his testimony is what he calls his final act of defiance, to keep the memory of the horrors of the Holocaust alive, even after he is gone. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Jaki piękny świat.
I'll be here tomorrow for CBC's Remembrance Day coverage. Special live coverage of the ceremony here in Ottawa, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, live on CBC News Network, CBC Television, and streamed on cbcnews.ca and GEM. We'll close our Remembrance Day coverage here tonight with another letter sent from a Canadian soldier far away from home who never came back.
My name is Diane Abel. I'm a Silver Cross mother. I lost my son Michael. Today I'm reading the first letter I received from him. 7th of January, 93. The potential situation is tensing up. Mogadishu is closed while the two clans leaders we see on CNN shaking hands battle each other with indiscriminate artillery, random shootings, ambushes of food convoys, raids on the coalition forces, rock throwing. All leads to the possibility of an escalation, but that's not our fight yet. Our job is as remote to the save the Somali famine as you can get. We're here to intimidate the warlords. It's a difficult task. Well, that's enough of that for now. Bye. Love, Michael.
On the new episode of 22 Minutes.
Hello, Ontario.
Go away! You better hurry up. We're getting very tired.
All right, so am I free to go?
No, you're under arrest. Tuesday at 8:30 on CBC and CBC GEM.
Here's my helmet and my bell. When I want to turn, I do a hand signal. This means left, this means right, this means stop, and this means...
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast, Front Burner, the story of Christian A. Youngman, a 24-year-old from Siksika First Nation in Alberta, killed in an allegedly racist attack, and the response from the communities affected. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
We want to say welcome to the party.
We want to say our house is your house today.
Sesame Street kicked off its 50th season with a star-studded anniversary special. It debuted 50 years ago today, revolutionizing children's television. While much has changed in the last half-century, one thing has remained constant. The beloved and familiar Muppets still operated the old-fashioned way. To celebrate Sesame Street's milestone, we sat down with puppeteers who worked on the Canadian version, Sesame Park, to reflect on the show's legacy and working with creator Jim Henson.
Stand by. Roll film. 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Tim Gosley, and I played Basil the Bear on Canadian Sesame Street.
Oh no, this exercise is making me hungry for cookies.
He was a polar bear, and he kind of spoke like this. I'm Basil the Bear here, and he was a loving, smart, in a very naive way kind of guy.
Can't breathe either. And I can still see the cookies.
I'm Trish Leeper, and I worked on Sesame Park. The characters I did were Katie, a little girl in a wheelchair.
Good morning. Katie, the reporter here, about to interview that famous, fabulous fairy tale legend, Goldilocks. She sort of had a voice like this, probably. Something like that.
And my favorite and most honored character, Barbara Plum.
The Notebook with Barbara Plum.
Good morning, I'm Barbara Plum. Today, a special report on the word hat.
Hey, ho, off we go.
I started playing Basil back in 1986.
To the magic forest.
And And after a number of us Canadian puppeteers had worked with the Americans on Fraggle Rock, they felt that the puppeteering quality was good enough to start a Canadian Sesame Street with puppets.
Think, Basil. Yeah. Think, Basil. Think, Basil. Think. I know!
Working on the Canadian Sesame Street was probably one of the most fun parts of my career.
We take a trip together to the moon. We go exploring.
I think as a puppeteer, it's hard not to be inspired by Sesame Street. It was a breakthrough television event.
Big, really big like me.
We were very fortunate to be able to have that opportunity.
Hey, ho, I'm aware. I'm a chicken, kind of bear.
Being part of Sesame Street is kind of self-evident. It is iconic, so to be on it is such an honor. And to have worked with Mr. Henson was, you know, unbelievable. So you know that you've been part of something that even 50 years later is still embedded in everybody's mind. It's really special. There's not many shows that have done that.
They tried different things than had been done in children's television up to that point. And it was breakthrough.
Bye. See you later. Oh, I think I had an arm fall off.
Hi, I'm the little yellow guy, and this is Tim, and we'd like to say hi to Rosie and Ian and Andrew and Adrienne. Hi.
We've been looking for a fifth anchor, so I think the search is over. Coming up next, an Edmonton couple just won the trip of a lifetime, and they have their Click Happy toddler to thank. But first, in case you missed it, China, known as the largest bastion of communism, has harnessed the power of loneliness to create the world's biggest consumer event, Singles Day. It's big enough that Taylor Swift provided the soundtrack at this extravagant show in Shanghai, as hundreds of dancers depicted a shopping cart being filled to the brim. Singles Day originated in the 90s in the dormitory culture of Nanjing University, when male students countered the monotony of singlehood with events and celebrations. November 11th was chosen as the date with the most ones in it. But as Singles Day spread, it became about shopping. This year, Walmart Canada invited you to get in on the world's largest shopping event. It has certainly been embraced by Alibaba, China's e-commerce behemoth. Today, the mounting sales were posted in real time to the delight of spectators. In just the first hour, sales surpassed $12 billion, up about 30% from last year. By comparison, Singles Day now rakes in more than Black Friday and Cyber Monday combined.
Let a murder go unsolved.
Bloody hell. Over my dead body.
Murdoch Mysteries, Monday at 8 on CBC and CBC Gem.
An Edmonton couple recently received a pleasantly surprising call. News they'd won a free trip to Japan. The first reaction sounds a lot like a scam, but the cable company on the other end of the line insisted they entered the contest and won. Turns out they have their toddler Anthony to thank. Their story is our moment.
Thursday morning, got a phone call from a gentleman telling me that he was from Shaw Cable, and that I had entered a contest and I was the grand prize winner of this contest. So obviously, right away, I'm thinking this is a scam. It all ended up checking out, and I guess the craziest part of the whole thing is that to win this or to enter this contest, you had to purchase a specific movie on their on-demand service. And me and my wife had both never seen that movie. but they had it on their file. We had purchased the movie at a specific time and date. This little guy plays with the remote constantly. Like you can see he's on his mom's phone right now. The thing that made the most sense was he must have accidentally ordered this movie multiple times, which entered, me into the contest and ultimately became the winner of it.
How many times do cable companies get calls from customers saying, I absolutely did not order that movie, and desperately try to get it canceled from their bill? One time it works out. And I would say that although it may be harder to do phone pranks with call display and all that sort of stuff, if your cable company calls you and says you've won a free trip because your toddler ordered a phone for you, you should do what they did and double and triple check. But when it works out as perfectly as that, it's a moment. That is The National for November the 10th. Good night.